But folks, my favorite subject on the Sports PSP pod, Babyface heel. Now, for those who may not know what Babyface heel means in wrestling terminology, Babyface, a good guy, hero, heel, bad guy, villain, a tweener, in between Babyface or heel. So I come up with a list of athletes or celebrities, and me and the panel, we're going to determine whether they are Babyface, heel, or a tweener. We already mentioned this individual, so might as well get him over with. Ray Rice. I say tweener because although people will always look at that incident, and I think the reason why he was no longer on an NFL team because he was in decline, age. So when you're not the same player as you once were, you're not going to get back as far as a job in the NFL or any sports profession. But the reason why I say tweener is because unlike someone like a Greg Hardy, he actually showed contrition and remorse. He took the same approach as Michael Vick. Although he didn't serve time in prison or in jail the way Michael Vick did, Ray Rice owned up to his mistakes. Ray Rice did show an appropriate level of contrition and remorse. I saw the Today Show interview when he was interviewed by a certain individual on the Today Show. I think you know who I'm referring to. That's looked very negatively nowadays. I've seen him being interviewed by Jamel Hill, who used to work at ESPN at the time, and Christine Leahy on Fox Sports. Ray Rice has owned up to his mistakes. Ray Rice has shown contrition and remorse. He's gotten to counseling, therapy. He has said he has done all the right things, which is why I don't necessarily say if someone does something one time, it should be a death sentence. I do believe in second chances. I do believe in forgiveness. BRF champ, I'm quite sure you feel the same way as I do. And I think if Ray Rice was still could still play, I think he would have had a chance to be back in the NFL. That the reason why he was not in the NFL because of his play, his production, particularly his last year in Baltimore and the video. But because of the fact that he has shown the contrition and remorse and he's owned up to what he's done, I say tweener. But there are going to be people who say, well, because of that incident, and we talked about it before, champ, you always say yourself, people are going to always remember however they want to remember you of. And anytime when you think of Ray Rice, you're going to unfortunately think of that incident. But I will say tweener is because he has owned up to his mistakes. He's shown contrition. He's shown remorse. And to me, that's all you can do. If that isn't enough to tell someone that they haven't learned from the error of their ways, then quite frankly, I don't know what else to say. I don't know what more you could ask from someone. That is my opinion. Whoever wants to go.
Kyle said it. I believe he's a tweener as well because he didn't handle it arrogantly. There's a difference when you handle something arrogantly and you handle something and you dive full-fledged and you take the criticism. And in the great words of Triple H, you eat crap and you like to taste stuff. There's a difference. When you handle things arrogantly, I don't think people are as forgiving. There's a difference between being sorry because you're truly sorry and being sorry that you got caught. I think that him and Michael Vick, guys like that, were truly sorry for what they did. And he understood why he didn't get another job. He understood that. Funny thing about that situation, well, it's not funny, but it was kind of ironic. That situation was so widespread that they had a show. They based a show on Law and Order off of that incident. And in fact, Megan Good played the wife. Shout out to Megan Good. But that's how deep that goes. But yeah, he showed attrition. He showed that he was truly sorry about what happened and what was going on. And he made the amends that he needed to make. Now, whether people choose to believe that, it's up to them. But I believe he made the amends that he needed to make. Nobody's squeaky clean in this world. In the great words of Eddie Griffin, you're not going to pass away clean. So that's what I would say.
BRF?
Probably would have to go. Probably have to go. Probably have to go tweener too. I mean, y'all pretty much laid everything out there. Really, I have no need to really add any more to it. Y'all touched all the important points there, and yeah, I'd have to agree with y'all. Yeah, there's nothing more I need to add. So yeah, but I agree though. Definitely a tweener.
All right, next one. Angel Reese. I'm going to say tweener. I can't call her a heel because I do like Angel Reese. I do like her style. I also think from a marketing, from a branding standpoint, she's smart. You know, she has her own podcast, the Unapologetic Podcast. She's had guests on her show, such as Mariah the Scientist, Lotto, of course, yeah, the video of her in Sexy Red, but yeah, that's a story for another day. But yeah, that was. She had Shaq on. She had Shaq on the show. She's had a lot of She's had other guests on her podcast. Plus, she trademarked Me Bounce, so I think she's done a good job. I love her brilliance, you know, marketing, the endorsement deals, the McDonald's, the Reese's Puff cereal. So I respect her for that, and I do think that she has gotten a bad rap as a basketball player. Because anytime when I go on social media, particularly YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, I hear a lot of people on social media saying that she can't play, she can't shoot, she's like the Andre Drummond of the WNBA, or even Draymond. And I'm like, first of all, how's that a negative comparison? How's it negative to compare her to Draymond? Draymond, last time I checked, is in the Basketball Hall of Fame. Eventually, will be in the Basketball Hall of Fame. He's a champion. Now, is Draymond is great as a shooter, as a scorer? No. Draymond is not really known for that. Draymond is known for playing hard, playing defense, as a playmaker, as a passer, can facilitate. Angel Reese still has a lot to prove. In my opinion, she still has a lot to prove. However, she is a terrific rebounder, leads the WNBA in rebounding, fourth in steals, you know, and she's improved as a passer, as a playmaker. Does she still need to work on her perimeter shot? And as far as her interior scoring, yes. Even the great Lisa Leslie mentioned it on her podcast. That's something that we have to fix on. And unfortunately, people are going to say she's a heel because, again, of the trash talking. It all goes back to between her and Caitlin Clark, you know, with Keith Olbermann, the criticism that he gave Angel Reese after Angel Reese and LSU beat Iowa. I mean, you just didn't like the fact that Angel Reese was doing the "you can't see me" what Caitlin Clark was doing, but keep it in perspective, folks. Trash talking is all a part of basketball. And also sometimes the media. Because again, we talked about Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, you know, the foul between them two. They've even admitted they don't have any personal beef or hate towards each other, which led to the situation with Ryan Clark and RG3, with RG3 assuming or speculating that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. She's a tweener. I can't necessarily call her a babyface because she does get a lot of attention and controversy. And sometimes, champ, I hate to say it, sometimes with Angel Reese, she does open her mouth a little too much from time to time. And sometimes when she opens her mouth and she doesn't back it up, it opens the door for criticism. But I don't think she's a heel either, because I think she's a good enough player. I still think she is someone that may not be the franchise player, for a franchise, but do I want her as the cornerstones, as a key contributor? Absolutely. And I think off the court, she's great. I definitely see life beyond basketball with Angel Reese, whether she's doing podcasting like all of us are doing, or branding, commercials. Angel Reese definitely has something because she obviously has the personality, the style, fashion. I mean, you saw her at the Met Gala with Megan Thee Stallion. Hey, that's a wonderful thing. But I mean, for me, that's for obvious reasons. But I digress. But Champ.
Babyface. Babyface.
I
Look
knew
here.
you were gonna say Babyface.
Hey, just because the masses do not like you, that does not mean you are terrible. And now the criticism, if you're looking at the internet right about now, is being equally distributed, especially after that incident with Marina Mabry. What happens is this: everybody, when the person they wants to win, they want them to showboat. They want them to act crazy. They want them to do all that old wild shit. They want them to celebrate yourself. You deserve it. You won. But when somebody who we don't particularly like win, oh, we want to become class policemen then. Show some class when you win. You weren't telling the other guy that when they was winning. In the great words of Vegeta, don't be absurd. You're just saying that because you're losing.
I'm laughing, Champ, because not because of everything you're saying. The reason why I'm laughing is because, oh hell, I'll say his name, Jason Whitlock, in terms of the criticism that he has given Angel Reese. And anytime when I listen to him criticize Angel Reese or any athlete that he particularly dislikes, you can just tell it's just nothing but horse shit. Which is why you've often said your worst fear is to be him.
Yes. And the thing is, like I said, and I can play it like I said, the fight with Android 19 versus Vegeta. And you heard Dr. Zero say, stop, that's enough. He said, don't be absurd. The only reason why you're saying that is because you're losing. You came here to destroy me. And now that I have the victory over you and I throw it back in your face, now you want to all of a sudden have an attitude like I'm the bad guy. Let's not even get into the literacy program that she started with Magic Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not even get into that. And people, regardless, she may not get the same fanfare as Caitlin Clark, rightfully so, but she made people pay attention to the game. Even one of the Baltimore Ravens players said that when she showed up on Monday Night Football, he shook her hand and said, you're the reason why I watched the W. So just because the masses do not like you, that does not mean you're terrible. The thing is, look, if the masses didn't like me, they probably highlight how many pieces of chicken that I eat, or how many pieces of shrimp that I eat, or whatever. This guy's let's bet how many shrimp that can Champ eat today. Because they don't like you. Because it's just like, hey, whenever our heroes lose, we always try to look at the other person and say you're the bad guy. Win with some class. No, you weren't telling somebody else to win with some class. Why? Why do I have to be the bigger person? Because when they was out here showboating and talking trash, you don't say nothing. When they have a bad game, you don't say nothing. I have one game. I have a triple-double, have a game of my life. You do everything you can to discredit it. You do everything you can to discredit it. Even when I do something good, you try to discredit it. And this ain't race specific. And it has nothing to do with race before people get in the comment spot. Because if you really look at the discourse around Angel, a lot of us knock her as well. But what have you done in order to deserve criticism? You said, I'm going to sit out if we don't get a contract. Other basketball players have come out and said the same thing. But because she did it, because she said it. Oh, she's trying. Come on. The reason
because they don't like her.
Because they don't, like I said, when you like somebody, there's nothing they can do. In the great words of Future, if you like somebody enough, they don't have to lie to you. You'll lie to yourself. So the thing is, she's not like I said the same thing about Sador, even before and after the tickets.
And you said that last week about Cam.
Yeah, they're not in serious trouble. Yeah, with Cam. They're not in serious trouble with the law. They're not going out here committing crimes. They're being young athletes. You don't see her out here doing stuff that would be deemed obscene. They're being young athletes. These are young athletes. And it's so ironic that guys our age will sit around here and criticize these young athletes when we was doing worse shit than they was. We just didn't have a camera on us. So that's just the truth.
No, it is. No, you're right about that, champ. Hell, we've done a ton of shit that we're not necessarily proud of, and thank God we weren't living in the era of social media. Otherwise, our asses would have gotten exposed.
Exactly. Our asses would have been grass and they would have been the lawnmower. Let's just be real. So, yeah, if you could look, if I'd have had a camera on me back when I was like, let's say 25 years old, ain't no telling what the hell would have came up on the internet right about that. Ain't no telling what the hell would have came up on the internet right about that. So when these young athletes, no matter who they are, and the thing is, it's starting to extend. Everybody's starting to give Caitlin Clark the same criticism. You're a flopper. You're a flopper. You do. She started to receive the same criticism. Now we're seeing it across the board. So with you not committing crimes, when you not doing this, when you just beating somebody, the only thing that you did, the worst thing that you did is beat somebody in a basketball game and gave it you can't see me sign. Granted, people will talk about, well, look at the clothes she wears. If humbleness was really respected, we respect modesty in every which way. If we really respected humbleness, then everybody would respect Russell Wilson. I'll say that again. If we really respected humbleness, then everybody would respect Russell Wilson. Because he ain't said 2 words his entire career. But yet, the masses trying to find a way to knock him, and Future fans try to find a way to knock him.
That's just unfortunately part of the game, champ. Do you remember Allen Iverson when he was on Quite Frankly with Stephen A. Smith? And he said, LeBron, they love you now, but mark my words, at some point, they're going to hate you. Yes. And the thing is, the bigger the person, we just want to find some reason to dislike or hate them. And that says a lot more about us. But again, champ, as you always tell me, people are always going to remember you based on how they want to remember you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think we was talking about this last night. I hate to steal the thunder of the other podcast, but we were talking about this last night, BRF. Remember how much they hated DC, Daniel Cormier?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This man is a model citizen. He's a family man. But yet they booed the hell out of him and loves John Jones for all the bullshit that he did. They booed a family man and they just cheered John Jones to life even after everything. So the thing is, it's all about how people want to remember you. And if the only thing that you are going to hate me for is I did this and I'm classless all of a sudden, we've seen guys literally lose. We saw Ohio State literally lose on their home field and start a whole ass fight because you went out there and you got your ass whooped on that field. But somebody do the you can't see me sign. I got one for the thumb. Now all of a sudden, you need to show some class while you're winning. Yeah, right. She's not in trouble with the law. She If you really look at how she interacts with fans, how she interacts with a lot of the kids, there's one WNBA super fan who brought her cereal to the game and asked Angel to sign it. She took her around, met the players and everything. So it's all just because the masses do not like you does not mean that I'm terrible. It's just the masses do not like me. Now, does she needs to get better as a shooter? Absolutely. As a shooter, absolutely. But the thing is, corrections on the basketball court always have room for improvement. Like I said, like you just said earlier, she's first in rebounds and fourth in steals. She's a DPOY candidate right now.
Right.
After winning it in Unrivaled. So, like I said, the masses, they can say what they would like to say. Angel Reese is a babyface. If you really want me to be honest with you, had it been any other player other than Angel that did that, would we really be saying anything? And not just that, if you really look at it, the very, very next year, they call that entire LSU team dirty debutantes. Let me say that again. They called that entire LSU team, Anisha Morrow, Angel Reese, Flau'jae Johnson. They called them dirty debutantes in the media. Just because they wanted to cheer for UCLA. And let's not even get into the fact that old Don Imus and some of the comments that he made about women's basketball players.
Oh yeah, remember what he said about them Rutgers women, them nappy-headed bleep?
Yes. So the masses don't mean nothing when you talk about Babyface and heel. It doesn't mean anything because guess what? A lot of them have their own perception of someone anyway. They're just looking for a reason to have it.
Mm.
And like I said, these young athletes, they're young. They're going to make mistakes. It's called growing pains. It's called growing pains. You're not going to have a 20-20 game every damn night. Not even Jordan had a 20-20 game every night.
BRF.
Hmm. Gotta go. And this is still Angel Reese, right?
Yes.
I mean, I feel like there's really no other way to go with her, but with being a tweener, because I mean, she's not necessarily like a full. She's not. I mean, she's never not a full-fledged heel because I mean, she's got her fans, she's got her support. I mean, she's got those that want to see her success, that want to see her succeed, that want to see her play well in the WNBA and have and kind of etch out a pretty storied career for herself. And then you got those that just that just don't that want to see her fail, that don't want her to do well. So I mean, she's kind of like Angel Reese for me has really been like that polarizing kind of figure that like divides everything up between those that want to see her do well and those that don't. Whether it's talking about her with the me bounds, which fair play to her getting that patent, getting that trademark was like that was like a thing of beauty to not only to not feel offended, but to talk giving credit to the fans or the people or whatnot that were making me bounce a thing and giving credit to all of them, and then to go and trademark it is like it's crazy. It's crazy. And then like just focusing on her basketball skills as well, like she's not like she's not a sniper, in the mid range games, the 3-point shot. She's like none of that. She's just somebody that's pretty good at basketball. Some people can just enjoy that about her. Some people can't, and it's unfortunate. But It's one of those things where it kind of is what it is. So with Angel Reese, I would have to go tweener with her, just because I don't think she really leans. I mean, she tries to be the villain, but I mean, it's like, you know, it's one of those things where it's just like she's like a tweener. Like everybody's not gonna hate her. I mean, just just who she is, whether being playing basketball or off camera, like you know, no one's gonna like really like you know get on her like that. So I would have to, yeah, I'd have to go tweener for Angel Reese as well.
All right, last one, BRF. I'll let you go on this one. Metta World Peace.
Ooh, I would have to go tweener there as well. Like one of the most polarizing figures, players we've ever seen. Metta World Peace, FKA Ron Artest. um,
Malice at
say
the
what you will
Palace.
about Matt. Yeah, exactly. That's what it's pretty much what it comes back to. It always comes back to Malice at the Palace. Like it never fails. Um, like, and I remember. Oh Lord, I think I remember where I was too. Like I was at home. I was at home, and like those like. So you mean I'm at home and like that's like I can't remember what network or what channel that was on, but I think it was like regional or I can't. It was like a regional or something like that. So couldn't really like see it like that. And then you're watching, and you know what I'm saying. I'm watching ESPN and I'm watching the highlights. And then when everything just kind of broke down, you kind of got this look on your face where your eyes look like quarters because you don't know. You like, huh? Like players running into the stands to go with fans. Like it started from a fight and then it just escalated up to that level of just craziness. Like to this day, that is still one of the craziest sights or just moments I've ever seen. Like the Malice in the Palace is just and and the thing is, you have to remember that Indiana squad was like really really good, really good. Because I mean, you got like this was like Jermaine O'Neal and Steven Jackson
Reggie
and
Miller.
Reggie Miller was there. I think Jamal Tinsley was there. That Indiana squad was like that Indiana squad was stacked. It was lethal. That was an Indiana squad trying to make a championship run, and like one night just killed it. One night just killed it. Like pretty much your important pieces got suspended, and it just really the momentum that the Indiana Pacers had built up going at the time was just kind of ruined. I mean, and who knows? Like those years, if it wasn't for the Malice in the Palace, that could be one of the biggest, that's one of the more underrated what ifs in NBA history. What if it's the Indiana Pacers in the Detroit Pistons shoes in terms of like representing the Eastern Conference and playing for an NBA championship? Like one of the more talked about stories we could have had was the Pacers potentially running it back against the LA Lakers and trying to get their get back from the 2000 finals. Like, the 99 like those 2000 finals, like that was like so just it was unreal. Like you didn't think something like that was real and was really happening, and you're just watching it unfold, and it's just like, man, like the one shot of Jermaine O'Neal basically running like cross court and nailing that fan in the face, like just man, it's wild. It was just so wild.
And let's
And
not
metal,
forget the situation between him and Harden in Harden's last year in OKC. Remember how he elbowed Harden in the
he
head?
elbowed him. He elbowed him in the head. I remember that, and it was like he was just I don't know if he was celebrating. It was like he was celebrating after making like a big. I think it was like a rebound. It was like a putback or something like that, or whatever it was, and he was just celebrating, and he made a play, and then all of a sudden that elbow turns and bam, just it's like sometimes with Metta World Peace or Ron Artest or whatever you want to call him, It's like you. It's like is he doing this on purpose? Who? Like, I mean, he's one of the best defenders like of all time. He's one of the best defenders of all time. He could give you scoring when you needed to score. He was a really good 3-point shooter. But just the fighting and it. Yeah, I think he's a tweener for me because a lot of these people just fall kind of into that same kind of tier where it's like you have those that support him and those that don't mess with him like that. I mean, me personally, I'm a fan. I was a fan of Metta World Peace playing ball. I always felt like he was a good player. Um, don't get me now. I'll say this though. Don't get me wrong. When they were going up against like the Hawks at the time, I'm always like, man, I hope they just run these boys off the court because I'm tired. Because he was Ron Artest then, so I was like, man, I'm tired of seeing Ron Artest's face. I'm tired of hearing his voice. I'm just I hope they beat him. I'm just tired of everything because he's just one of those players like he was just one of those players like you can root for him against like certain teams that you don't really care to see win. And then he's just one of those where it's just like, man, I hope they beat him by 20. He get on my damn nerves. Like like he was just one of those players for me. Polarizing, very, very polarizing. Yeah, I'd have to put Metta World Peace in that I have to put him in that tweener category too, because I mean it's just really how you feel as far as like whether you like them or not. I think a lot of times when we do this segment and you pick the athletes and we list them as tweeners, they pretty much fall in that same category. It's like, half of the fans love them and half of the fans don't. I mean, it's just kind of that polarizing, like it's that polarizing effect that they had on us, whether it was like, growing up or like, early adulthood and just depending on the era that they played in. So yeah, man, yeah, he's a tweener for me. Like I liked him as a player, but it's just like hey, he won everybody cup of tea.
I would say tweener as well. But his time with the Los Angeles Lakers, how he delivered the championship, especially in Game 7, how he hit the
Mm-hmm.
big time three. And Kobe, he didn't want him taking that three, but once he made it, Kobe does that, that fist thing. He was like, "We gonna win this. We gonna win this." Remember how Champ, and you would know as a Lakers fan. Remember how Ron Artest, I'm sorry, Metta World Peace and Kobe met.
Yeah, I remember that Houston Rockets game. That was pretty interesting. What's so ironic about that? Kobe asked for him to come there, even after that incident. That was the funniest thing about that. And with the whole Matt Barnes situation, when Matt Barnes acted like he was going to throw the ball and hit him in the face, he asked for that Matt Barnes to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Metta World Peace, man. I like Metta World Peace, man. I don't know. My mom hated Metta World Peace. She couldn't wait till the Lakers to get rid of his ass. I'm just gonna be real.
Apparently, your mama does not like bad boys.
No, she does not. That's probably why her dad put me in ties and shit every day when I went to school. So that's probably the reason why. But
I don't understand how she don't like bad boys, but Dallas Cowboys, they feel bad boys. But that's a story for another day.
that's another story for another day. We'll talk to you about that. She didn't particularly care for Michael Irvin. The guy who she kind of fond of was Emmett because he was a sneaky clean guy. Him and Troy Aikman. But Metta World Peace, man. I say he's a tweeter, man. Y'all remember Tyler Hansberg?
Yes.
Tyler Hanks, bro, yeah.
The Psycho T, and he used to scare the hell out of everybody. And one day he looked back and he thought somebody pushed him or something. He looked back and saw a Metta World Peace and he didn't want no smoke. I'm like, nah, I'm good on that. That was the whole thing. That was pretty interesting, man. Talented player, yet volatile. Funny thing about that, during the course of that season, Balance for the Palace, he was actually going to see a therapist that year. He actually started doing a lot of therapy because he felt like everything was just crashing and just coming down on him at a certain point. He just felt the pressure, which fair. You know, you're part of the championship team. You just lost last year. You know, you're trying to find. He almost retired that year, but you know, Donnie Walsh wouldn't let him retire. He's like, "No, you're not retiring, bro. I can't afford to let you retire right now." He was like, he was strongly against it. You know, during that match in the Palace, he was really going through a lot of things mentally at a certain point. And what's so funny about that, he was on the table doing his breathing exercises that his therapist taught him before they threw that drink on. If you watch the Untold story, the story of Untold on Netflix is very, very insightful. But, you know, like we said about with the whole Rice situation, he came out during the NBA of all things, the biggest victory of your career. You finally win a champion. You finally win a championship. Remember how he apologized to Reggie Miller, Steven Jackson, and, you know, Jermaine O'Neal. Remember how he apologized to them on national television? And I think it was Trey Wingo who had to kind of bring him back to the victory, because he kind of flashed back and he said, man, I'm so sorry that I couldn't enjoy this with the Indiana Pacers. And although I'm a winner right now, I still kind of feel like a coward because I let them down. And remember, Trey Wingo had to pull him back, like, no, let's talk about how you just won this game. You hit the game-winning shot. And he just kept saying, man, I felt like a coward because, you know, after that bounce in the Palace incident, he actually traded. And he ended up going to the Rockets. And ironic, that Rockets team wasn't bad either. Remember, that team had a 22-game winning streak with him and Tracy McGrady on that team.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man, Ron Artest, man, I like Ron Artest, man. Metta World Peace based his number on how many weeks that Michael Jackson was on the top 100 list. Like I said, he was just volatile at a certain point. All of that over emotion, which can happen when you play a sport like basketball, man. You know, which can happen. And one of the best rebounders and defending players that you ever want to see, man. He's going to give you all the heart that you got, all the heart that he has. But like I said, he's just so volatile at times. So just, it's a fine line between being emotional and volatile. And he crossed that line a lot of times. But when you talk to his teammates, especially Steven Jackson, they'll tell you he's a good teammate. He works hard. You know, he did everything he was supposed to at practice. You didn't have to worry about him missing meetings. But I think that everything's going to boil down to people are going to remember Malice in the Palace. People are going to remember that big elbow, that Randy Savage elbow that he put on
James Harden.
On James Harden. And people are going to remember the Psycho T moment where, you know, Psycho T, he was always in somebody's face. He turned around and seen Metta. It was Metta World Peace that pushed him. He was like, nah, I'm good. I don't want no smoke, bro. So but unfortunately, that's how he's going to be remembered. But, you know, hey, let's not forget about that game 7 game winning shot. A very, very instrumental shot. Got us number 16. So that's something to behold. And he came back from it. He, you know, after that, he was in some incidents where he was the bigger person. He realized what he had did was wrong. Sometimes you got to get that big tap on the shoulder in order for you to kind of, you know, repent or what have you. So, Metta World Peace, man, thank you for bringing that championship to Los Angeles. That'll never be forgotten. I still got your jersey in my storage. I'm too damn big to wear it right about now, but when I get down to size, I'm gonna wear it again. So, but big shout out to Metta World Peace, man. I like Ron Artest, man. I wish he didn't make music though, because that was terrible. But that was good. Metta World Peace, man. You the man, man.